Hello everyone. Welcome to another edition of Tech Talks with nasscom Insights. I'm Ashish Gupta, Senior Analyst nasscom Insights, and I will be your host for today. In today's episode, we will talk about navigating market headwinds, a tech startup quarterly review for Q4CY2022. The year 2022 came to a conclusion with some uncertainty due to the ongoing global funding winter. The current global situation is having an impact on Indian attitudes as well, and investors are becoming more cautious in their investment. And this cautious approach has a direct and indirect effect on the Indian market also. So we are here today to talk about the effect of the present climate on the Indian tech startup ecosystem. To discuss this further, I have with me two industry experts, and on the behalf of nasscom Insights, I would like to welcome Anand Joshi, who is independent consultant at Datafoundry.ai, and Praneet Singhal, Director Mobility Tech at One Lattice. So just to give you a brief about their profiles, Anand is a recognized expert and analyst in the artificial intelligence community and speaks frequently at conferences. His market research report from Tractica Omdia on computer vision, AI chipsets, and data center infrastructure have been used by Fortune 500 companies for strategic planning purposes since 2014. Over the past 5 years, he has been involved as an executive and advisor with several prominent AI companies. During his stint, he built state-of-art AI chipsets and vision-based software analytics products. So I'd like to welcome Anand on this webinar.
Thank you.
Regarding Praneet has deep experience in business analytics, competitive intelligence, consumer behavior, and market research. He has wide experience in working with companies across verticals in their customer experience programs. He's a member of firms transportation, logistics, and high-tech and IT practices. He has led several competitive intelligence projects. He's passionate about powering business growth through superior consumer experience. Before this, Praneet led vast transformation for one of the leading telecom players in the country. So Praneet, welcome to this webinar.
Thank you, Ashish.
So my first question is for Praneet. Praneet, as you know, global funding is still present, and in the last quarter of 2022, funding almost came down to 77 billion US dollars, which is down 6% from the previous quarter and 58% year on year. So what are your thoughts on the recent decline in the global funding and what the future holds from the perspective of the global market, since this decline is one of the main factors that is influencing Indian funding sentiments also? So your thoughts on the same?
So there are, first of all, 2 points to this. So financial markets, whether public or private, they continue to go through peaks and troughs. So that is not something new. Although the recent environment had some additional factors as well, just looking at some of the geopolitical tensions that have been primarily driven by the Russia-Ukraine war, which had actually disrupted a lot of supply chains as well, and just more uncertainty around it. Also leading to a lot of global inflation, which have actually led to the raise in the interest rates, which have also influenced investors to park more of their funds on those safer investments. And when we talk specifically about the Indian market, so the recent IPOs, which have actually not gone so well after the initial surge in the tech space, have also led a lot of investors to just relook at the way they were evaluating their investments or the valuations, and which we also see in terms of the focus shifting just from the number of subscribers or just the revenue, but also to profitability. So if we actually look at that, since the end of 2021, the investments have continued to dip. The seed funding and the late stage fundings still saw some sort of interest from the investors. But now the investors have started to focus more on their existing portfolio and driving them towards more sustainability, and they continue to support them better, and also looking at seed stage investments and primarily into the SaaS space, where basically India continues to have a lot of advantage across the globe. And that is where I think the investor interest right now is peaking at.
Absolutely. Russia-Ukraine war, this IPO, returns, investor sentiment, all this led to again affecting the Indian market also. So Anand, what are your thoughts? Are these global factors, unstable global attitude, affecting your how a startup operates like yours?
Well, thankfully, we are in a field which has been immune to this so far. Datafoundry is a company that's using AI in the field of life sciences. And life sciences in general, healthcare, pharma, medical devices, it's mostly immune to the financial cycles. Semiconductor industry suffers a lot, finance industry suffers a lot, but life sciences, people do get sick, and that doesn't change because there is downturn. So that's one positive factor. And then secondly, because AI is still moving at such a rapid pace, that it's been helping us. And really, the onus has been on us to use it as much as possible and get out there and bring out the business benefits. So thankfully, we've been doing well, and the impact has been minimal on us, and we continue to be profitable and stay in the growth phase.
Good to hear that, Anand, that startup like Data Foundry and specifically the deep tech startup is profitable and gaining the business. So I think then the next question is perfectly relevant because Praneet, we have seen that the term unicorn has gained popularity, particularly over the past 2 years when India has been setting new records. However, the story for Q4 2022 is completely different, and there was not a single unicorn in this quarter. Every quarter, the number of unicorn decreased until it was zero. So, what do you think, Praneet? Is it an indication of the worry or a self-evaluation phase where startups are focusing more on consolidation and profitability rather than just rushing towards the revenue increase?
So I think this is a lot about the correction in the way how the overall market, say from the promoter side, as well as how the investors were looking at the overall industry. So I would not really see it as a sign of worry. And I think it's somewhat a change from valuation to self-evaluation for the companies as well as the investors. Now, as rightly pointed out, unicorns had been the key term to go to over the last couple of years. And now, whether globally or in India, the number of unicorns getting created has actually dipped significantly, almost 50% down over the last year or so. Although the interesting thing is that the SaaS startups, or as Anand mentioned, data driven, tech driven, AI ML driven startups have actually been one of the hottest sectors in 2022. Almost 25% of the unicorns were from the SaaS sector. Then again, as I mentioned earlier as well. So initially, late stage funding was also seeing a lot of uptake, although now that is all changing, and investors are now pushing the organizations toward more sustainable business models, which we are also seeing in terms of the downsizing that's happening, or making the overall systems more efficient. So the focus is definitely shifting, and this is more of a correction that was probably needed after the search for 5 to 6 years, which was a little too optimistic as well. But in the long term, I think this is going to be very beneficial both for the industry as well as the country. And in fact, the I think beyond unicorns, the one of the key terms in the near future would actually be cockroach startups, which are actually more resilient and have a more robust business model, more sustainable for the entire ecosystem as well. It is not just about the organizations as well as the investors, but also the consumers as well as the employees that work in these organizations. So it would just create a more sustainable ecosystem overall.
Sustainability is the key going forward, and the era we are living when valuation, every layman knows about the valuation, how to calculate it. Then yes, sustainability of the business is very important so that we have continued to get unicorns in the near future. So Anand, scaling has been a concern, and if you talk about the deep tech ecosystem, there are a lot of issues about the scaling, and that's why deep tech number of unicorns in the deep tech ecosystem are very less. So We need to understand from you how easy or difficult will it be for Datafoundry to scale effectively in the current market environment. It's good to hear that you are profitable, you are growing. But additionally, given that the rate of deep tech unicorns is far lower than the number of unicorns in the other sectors, can we anticipate additional unicorns from the pool of core deep tech firms? Your opinion on the matter?
Most certainly. I don't think deep tech is going away anytime soon. And if anything, we are at the really, really low rung of this ladder called AI. The modern AI, which is different from classic machine learning, if you will. The classic machine learning dealt with a lot of formulas and data, which was tabular. The modern AI deals with extracting relationship in text. So it understands the text, it understands the image, it can take an image, convert into text, it can take a text, generate image. So it's the type of things it can do is quite fascinating. And so we're going to be seeing a lot of unicorn in whether it's finance or insurance or healthcare or life sciences, drug discovery, whatever it may be. There's going to be tons of unicorns coming in this field, driven by AI. That's my opinion. Coming back to us specifically, in this environment, there's a couple of things happening. So first is the delay. Things have slowed down. They're not moving as fast. So if you went to a customer and you told them that, hey, I have this awesome product, would you like to buy it? The question would be, when can you give it to me? Right? Now, because of the slowdown, now it's become, well, we have to wait till we get approval of this person and that person, so on and so forth. So delays, it's coming in the market. And definitely, because there has been all this downsizing going around, every company is sort of keeping an eye out on their expense. But, it will change. The modern technology will come in the picture. People will start writing the check. So I think for us, the scaling is just a matter of time. We are using this time to essentially enhance our product portfolio. So we are adding more and more products in the whole life cycle of a starting from drug discovery all the way to manufacturing. And that's really what is going to allow us to scale. So when the time is right, we just go and attack the market.
Yeah, that makes sense. And the demand is a key parameter in this current situation market. If demand is good, then the chance of scaling is also better, and that is what our next question is. So, Praneet, in a short period of time, we have seen that there is a noticeable increase in the demand from the products that many new generation startups are offering. And this is directly challenging the established companies and compelling them to enter these emerging industries and diversify their portfolio. So what's your opinion regarding the same, about this portfolio shift, the new emerging startups getting and challenging the established companies?
See, category creation and new sub-industries getting developed is nothing new, and we have been seeing it for ages. Whether we talk about audio cassettes evolution to CDs and then to MP3, so it has always been happening that the technology advances and then there is a mark shift that happens. Similarly, when we talk about the tech-focused startups and the way they are operating in these legacy industries, so that has also evolved. It is actually disrupting the way how companies reach out to customers, how their business models operate. Some of the roles also continue to become obsolete, though new roles are also getting created. So it is more of an evolution that is happening. And this is again more for giving better services to customers and also to bringing in better operational efficiencies for companies as well. Say, for examples, banks and NBFCs are now able to improve their credit assessment, the loan approval process getting swifter. They have better knowledge, understanding with the vast amount of data that they have. And it makes the business less riskier for them as well. Now, some of the reasons why these new business models are a threat to the traditional way of business and industry is working. Now, the new businesses and startups particularly are very agile, they are very flexible, and they are very much data driven. Now, this actually helps companies react faster to market conditions. They are able to reach to customers faster. The overall journey of development to research and reaching to the shelves has reduced significantly. when we say compare to a traditional FMCG firm to a D2C firm, now the launch of a product is not a multi-month exercise, but also only a few days exercise in both in terms of marketing as well as the physical reach to the customer as well. And other is obviously the higher customer centricity. You have more customer data. You know, the companies know their customer more. They are able to focus and position the product which a customer needs, and they're able to personalize all of that. So that ways, I think the overall industries are evolving. Now looking at when we talk about how can new age companies and the larger legacy players work in this same ecosystem. So I personally do not see it as a competition, but more as a collaboration, because the new age startups would need to partner with legacy companies. There is a lot of trust that these legacy companies have. They have a larger customer base also. So it is more about collaboration. So they can partner with established players to gain better access to their existing customer base, their distribution networks, and also for regulatory reasons in some cases. So while they have access to technology, there are a lot more towards it, whether we talk in the field of medical science or we talk about food and beverages. And similarly, legacy players also need to partner with such startups to make their models more efficient. Say, for example, in logistics, the traditional way how logistic happens in an FMCG firm is very manual, and a lot of logistics as service providers are actually making it much more efficient. And basically the need of calling up a local transporter or just checking the status of the vehicle is now just eliminated, and it can all be just tracked through a web-based dashboard or an app. uh, so in my view, these are some of the things that are really helping. And if we also just look at some examples across industries, so say BFSI, I mentioned about loans. Similarly, EKYC, that just made the system so much more efficient. Say just the basic account openings as well, right? Similarly, in foods and beverages, who could imagine food getting delivered in 15-20 minutes, or the quick commerce, right? 10 years back, the e-commerce was the in thing. Now people do not have the patience for 2 days delivery and just need everything in 10 to 15 minutes, and that is also happening. Similarly, in hospitality, actually this had happened quite a lot of years back itself, but the bookings could just be on your fingertips. So in a way, the new age startups as well as legacy companies actually need to work together and just build better, efficient models so that the overall ecosystem just benefits, also the consumer benefits.
Absolutely. Partnership collaboration is the key for the growth. So Anand, Datafoundry has been very focused on the healthcare industry, and they are driving actionable insights at a fast pace, and that is definitely a crucial thing. But what do you think? A focused approach is better than a diverse approach. So, do you want to continue creating your legacy into the healthcare industry only, or do you also want to diversify going forward to expand your business going?
So rather than healthcare, I would describe ourselves as a life sciences company.
Science.
And under life sciences, you have one part which is pharmaceutical. So there you start from drug discovery and go all the way to manufacturing. In between, there are clinical trials, and after drug is in the market, there is safety, food and drug administration involved. So that's one track. The other track is the healthcare, in which you have hospitals, and then you have systems, and you patients go there and they consume all these drugs, right? So that market for us is large enough that we could play for several years, because it's a trillions of dollars of industry, right? And we have enough avenues within life sciences to pursue where we can grow. So our current focus is what is called as safety, so drug safety. So when the drug goes to market, it has adverse effects, and the patients have to be monitored, and those effects have to be recorded and reported to FDA, and then that database has to be analyzed by the drug manufacturer, and the labels must be created accordingly, and everybody, all the patients and doctors should be involved, right? So this whole process is so manual today. The doctor's database, everybody has a different type of data format. FDA uses different data system. Drug companies have their own, sort of data warehousing facilities. And then, they don't really track anything that's out in the public. So there is literature that's out there created by different universities and hospitals around the world. What we do is we create tools that essentially bring all of this information together using AI, and we automate the process. So we not only automate extraction of the data, we also automate the overall reporting process. So in which you can make a list of all these adverse effects, analyze them, generate analytics and insights, and you can report it to a agency like FDA. Right. So this is our current focus, and it's getting tremendous traction in the market. And from here on, we can just easily be going into clinical trials. So that's where some of our products are focused. So clinical trial itself is a very long and complicated process. You have to first of all invent the drugs, then find out potential candidates, and then monitor them, and there is a whole process that is involved. So we have products that go on there. And then from there is the manufacturing part, in which your actually drug is ready, and now you have to go to manufacturers and produce them in market and make sure it goes to shelves, in the right order. So there is plenty of space for us to play, within this market, and that's where we continue to focus.
Okay, so you already have a lot to explore in this market, so there's no need for diversification for now. I think you have a big market to play. So thanks, Praneet and Anand. With this, we come to end of episode 1 of our discussion about navigating market headwinds, a tech startup quarterly review. Our conversation with Anand and Praneet will continue. So stay tuned for the part 2 of the discussion, where we will talk about inorganic and organic growth strategies of startups, along with the continuing focus on innovation. So we'll also discuss on what to expect from the market in the next few quarters. Thanks, everyone, and stay tuned.
Thank you.